that will help us as individuals and as a society achieve the moral law, but which are not in themselves part of the moral law. These are the duties that are kind of have one foot in the practical realm and one foot in the theoretical realm. They're imperfect because I can choose not to follow them and still claim to be perfectly moral. But if I choose to follow them, then I am sort of going above and beyond. The duties, the primary imperfect duties, are one, to improve your own capabilities, self-improvement, to improve your own faculties, as Kant says, right? To become educated, to become excellent in the sense that Aristotle uses it, right? I want to make myself the best person I can be, and in so doing, I can put myself better in the service of the moral law. But this is not a perfect duty. It is not perfectly universalizable in the same way, an imperfect duty. So the other way to understand that would be, I have an imperfect duty to help myself. The second imperfect duty is the duty to help other people. And this is another place where Kant's ethics becomes controversial. Right? Kant says there is no rational moral law that states that you must, in every circumstance, help other people. Right? How could there be? Right? There are so many people to help, so many ways to help, that if it were universally true that you had to help other people, you would spend your whole life helping other people, which is practically impossible. Right? That would be self-undermining. So because it can't be universalized, it can't be a perfect duty. It's also consistent with Kant's theory because Kant believes we are autonomous rational agents. We are only responsible for ourselves structurally. Therefore, everyone should have the capacity to take care of themselves. No one requires other people's help, according to Kant. So while on the one hand, Kant thinks that, right, I have to respect other people's goals and practical aims, he also thinks that I have no duty to help anyone achieve those goals. So there's a little bit of a sort of libertarian strain to Kant's ethics here, right? I only have to look out for number one. I have no absolute obligation or responsibility to other people, and if other people can't help themselves, that's their problem. So that would be, I think, a legitimate critique of Kant here. But it's important to understand why he thinks this is true, right? It's about what we are as human beings, and it's about what can genuinely be universalized as a moral law. So let's recap a little bit here. We have the two forms of imperative, the hypothetical and categorical imperative. Hypothetical imperative is whatever is a means to some practical goal or end. And the categorical imperative is that which is an end in itself. Categorical imperative has two forms. To, in the first place, do what is universalizable, act according to that maxim you could will to be a universal law. And the second form, to always treat people as ends in themselves and never as a means to an end. We then have two different kinds of duty. The perfect duty, which is simply to follow the categorical imperative, and the imperfect duty, which is to develop your faculties, to improve yourself, and to help other people. Now, I'm just going to say a word about the value of this rational moral law. This is what we're going to pick up next class. Why on earth would I ever follow this moral law if doing so could result in the death of my friends, in all kinds of suffering and pain and destruction in the practical world? Why on earth would I believe that this theoretical law is more important than my practical concerns? Okay, I have this experience of respect that tells me that this logical truth is universalizable and inherently good. So what? What is this all building to? And for Kant, the answer has to do with the teleology of human history. Again, I'm writing teleology on the board. We remember teleology from Aristotle, from that idea of entelechy, the idea that we have an inherent purpose based in what we are, right? As the rational animal, we have a teleological existence which propels us toward a particular definition of flourishing, right? Which means exercising our rationality. For Kant, there's something similar, but it doesn't relate to the individual human being. It relates instead to the human species as a whole. The human species has rationality. What makes us a unified group is the form of our subjectivity and our share of rationality. Kant thinks that the progression of human history is itself developing toward a moment of self-realization, of species-level flourishing. Whenever we talk about historical progress, we are using a Kantian idea, or an idea that is from Kant's time, in which Kant articulates in one of its fullest expressions. The idea that we are progressing towards some end goal as a society, as a global society, as a species, is this idea of historical teleology, that we are improving toward some end. And for Kant, we can never know from within our particular social and historical context what that ultimate goal will be. We don't know what society is progressing toward. We can only imagine, right? From where we stand, we can only imagine what that goal will be. But we know, or what Kant thinks we know, what Kant believes, is that the entirety of our existence is structured and ordered according to rationality. Therefore, the progression of human history, the teleological development of society, will also be organized and structured according to rational laws. Therefore, in order to pursue these, in order to bind our will to the trajectory of human history. We can't rely on imagining what that goal might be. We can only follow those rational, analytic, universal truths. We must follow the categorical imperative because only the categorical imperative, because it is purely rational, is going to help us progress society, progress history, help us be part of the movement toward this end goal of society. Right? What we are is a rational will. The only way we can bind our will to something other than hypothetical self-interest, the only way we can bind our will genuinely to the proper purpose of being human is by willing the categorical imperative, by acting according to these rational moral laws. All right, so that's, I think, where we'll end it for today. For next class, we're reading another essay by Kant, and we'll take up this question of historical teleology and the idea of perpetual peace and cosmopolitanism in a different context. So I will write out the highlights of our meeting today. I've recorded it. I'll send you the recording also. Please, I encourage you to write any questions you have about the lecture or the reading on Blackboard, and I'll respond to them. There are some discussions already open. We'll open some more. But that's all for today, and I hope you're all managing the situation as best you can, and good luck. I'll see you all on Monday.